What did you do?
I think I shot myself a little bit.
So, hallo, herzlich willkommen in diesem neuen Video. Endlich, es hat ein bisschen gedauert, bis das neue Video wieder hochkommt, aber jetzt sind wir zurück. Das hier ist mein Kumpel Noam und er spricht nur Englisch, er ist aus Australien, deswegen müsste ich gleich auch Englisch reden. Verzeiht mir vielleicht Fehler oder schlechte Aussprache, was auch immer. Ich hoffe, ihr versteht alles. So, the DJB just introduced their new campaign, which is about the Judo values. So for this month, for the month of May, the Judo value is friendship. And as I'm now here in Morocco, traveling with my friend Noam, I thought, man, that's the perfect time to speak about friendship in Judo. So, may I introduce Noam Tida, my friend from Australia, who's currently living in Barcelona, who's now traveling with me to Morocco, which is great. Noam and I, we were thinking about how we met each other, or how we got to know each other. It's, I think, so when did you come to Munich? Or why did you even come to Munich?
Why? I think the first time would have been 2013. Was the first time. I think it would have been the first time I met you. So it was like 11 years ago. Yeah, it was for Judo. It was a Australian international training camp. We came. I think it was junior training camp. We did like Lithuania, Poland. Came for training in Munich because there's a really good center there, and I think that's where we met first time. I don't think we became friends straight away. I think I was scared of you a little bit.
And of my dad.
I think I was really scared of your dad. I think I just kept coming back to Munich. It's a really good center for Judo. The guys there, you guys have a really good squad. And yeah, I just joined, and each time I came, I lived there in 2015 in Munich, and then I lived again in 2018 maybe for a few months. Stayed with the team, with Manu, and I think each time I visit, I think altogether maybe 6 or 7 times I've been in Munich, and each time we got to see each other more and more, and it's been really good.
Yeah, and I think first time when you came, we were probably in the same category, 66.
Yeah, maybe.
And maybe, I don't know if that's the reason, but somehow we didn't do much together, so we haven't been friends or something, but we more or less knew each other, and then so we didn't even text or anything, but after a really quite long period of time, after the Corona crisis actually, we went to this festival together to Budapest. So we were celebrating one bachelor's party at the festival, and Manu Scheibel, he asked Noam if he wants to join us on the festival, and I think there we met for the first time since 8 years or something, and that was just 2 months or something before I wanted to go to Australia to fight the Australian Open in order to win some points for the Olympic qualification. So on the festival I didn't have the intention to go to Australia already, but after that I thought, okay, I go to Australia, who could I call to stay there? And I thought, okay, there was this guy on the festival, Noam, maybe I just call him.
Amazing guy, really funny, really
sarcastic also. And then I called Noam, or I texted him, and directly, without really considering long, you invited me to be your guest for 4 weeks. He said you can be in my apartment and you don't need to pay.
I was being sarcastic though.
And man, I went to Melbourne. I didn't really know you, and I just went there, and after probably 1 or 2 days I felt that this is kind of such a good vibe that we have, and we had the best time in Melbourne. Really, I enjoyed it so much.
Yeah, I think something I really liked was, I liked that we had a really similar interest in Judo, and we had that history as well, and I knew your dad from it, and I think this started, it helped the foundation for the friendship. We had a similar passion that we were both trying to achieve and had similar dreams in, and I think it pushes you in similar ways, so we could connect in this way. So when you came to Melbourne, we straight away connected really easily because we've had a lot of quite similar experiences in general. And uniquely, you had your experience in Germany and I had mine in Australia, different systems, but same direction, same passion, and I think it made it, it was very natural. I think it was very easy to connect in this way.
True.
Yeah.
And that's so cool, and I think that's like the judo value from the DJB right now is friendship. And I was thinking about a story how friendship in judo develops, and I made so many friends in Germany and in my team, of course, but I also made friends all across the world. For example, to Australia. Right now we're sitting here in Morocco because after we met in Melbourne 2 years ago, we continued having contact with each other, and Noam just like 4 weeks ago asked me would I want to join his trip to Morocco, and so now we're here and having the best time, and it's just because we 10 years ago did judo together. Yeah. And that's such a nice story which I really wanted to tell you about. Yeah. Maybe that's one of the nicest things that come from the long judo journey, to get to know all these different people and to build connections and friends.
I definitely think with a sport like judo, it because so many countries do it, and I mean it's the same sport and it's done in really similar ways around the world, you have such a broad network. You know, I have friends like when I trained in Israel, and I have friends like when in France, and I have friends like in Germany, and friends in New Zealand, and they're all around, and they're all this network of friends through judo, through this one way, and I think because the values are the same across the sport in every country, and people are going through similar experiences, and you see internationally, you know, like, well, I've friends, and yourself as well, you can meet in a competition, and then the competition is over, and you can, you know, go have a drink together, or go for a coffee, or just spend time together. When you're there for a competition, but you still get to have time as friends, it's a really great opportunity. Really great. It's such a unique kind of friendship, you know, as opposed to the friends that you have from school or from university or work. Or it's really nice. You get to travel, and I think this is what made this kind of trip here in Morocco so nice, because we've traveled together, like as friends. We've been in so many places together, and it's nice to do it in this way. Also,
I think especially judo is a great sport to build connections, because it's like a small community, but still it's the people that do judo are like, it's the sort of people that are maybe a little bit crazy,
a bit weird.
A bit weird. I think that makes it such a beautiful sport to build good connections with people. I don't know how it is in other sports. Maybe in football. Do you think that works the same? Because in judo we cuddle and we fight and we sweat on each other's faces.
Very personal. Very intimate.
Yeah, and also in training camps. Do you remember what was like your worst training camp? So I remember we were sleeping in one room on the floor in Japan, 20 people in one like hall. These experiences, they bind together.
I actually think one of my worst like experiences was in 2013 in Munich.
When you
I don't know if I told you about this. Actually, we were there's not much room downstairs in the Munich center for like bedrooms. It's a really small room. I don't know if it's changed since, but when I was there, it was a small room. I think maybe like 6 beds.
Yeah, no window.
No window, like super dark, like one door and just like one light and, you know, 2 PowerPoints or something, I don't know. And we were a team, like a big team, maybe of like 10 or so, and juniors, and this was full. I think this went for like, I think all the girls took this private space or something. And so there were a few of us boys, and we got sent into the big function room. We just lay on mattresses. I think maybe your dad or someone gave us mattresses, and we had some blankets. But what they didn't tell us was that at 7 o'clock the next day, 7 a.m., there was a group of like old lady aerobics that was gonna wake us up, and so we're like sleeping, like preparing for the next day after a long training session, and we wake up to like these like lovely German old ladies that come and it's like, hello, like we need to use this space, like please. And we had to move all our stuff to one side, and we just went to the park and waited so we could have our room back.
I never heard of the story, but this is like a perfect example of in judo. Most of the time we don't have much money, so we do the most random stuff in the training camp to be able to afford the camp. And that's what makes it so unique and so much fun.
And I think, going back to the comparison with other sports, I think because it's an individual sport, you have your team, your national team that you travel with, but because it's an individual sport and you fight with one other person and you try to do that other person from another country or another team or whatever, you don't do it with your own partners. I think you can connect more personally, more individually in that way. Whereas if you, let's say with football, you have your team and you go to dinner with that team and you go to like training just with that team and you do that stuff. Whereas I think the nice thing with judo is that you train with your competitors and you train with people teammates from other teams, from other countries. And this is, I think this is what makes it really easy to also connect on a friendship way with that other person, because you've already had interactions just yourself. Even though we didn't right at the start, but
sometimes maybe it needs time.
Takes time.
I think maybe it could also be a thing that we were in the same category and like we were opponents. And of course I didn't want to lose in randori against you because we are in the same category and you're just an Australian.
And of course you would lose against me.
Of course not. Never ever did I lose to an Australian. I maybe broke one shoulder, but he was French. Hey, shout out to Emil, maybe you listen to this podcast.
This is the other side to, like, let's say, comparison to football. I think judo is, it's also a bit trickier to become friends with the person that you're, trying to smash into the ground. I think the separation between, hey, I'm gonna fight you and like really like show my aggression and my intensity to like at you, and then to stop this at the end of the training or the fight, and become really good friends. I think, I think you have to learn how to do it. I think it's hard to separate these, and for myself at least, as I matured, it became easier to be like, okay, on the mat we fight, and kind of, if you're my friend, the best thing I want to do for you is to fight you really hard, because it's going to be the best for you and for me. And then you come off and you go for a beer and you just spend time together and you have the next session the next day.
But it's definitely a thing that you need to develop. Like, I understand that. Also a point in judo, so you said we fight really hard against each other, but on the other side you need to take care of your partner. So because if I injure you, then we cannot train anymore.
Yeah, it's bad for you, it's bad for me.
Yeah, that's really a nice thing, and I think that's kind of a nice conclusion of this video. Thank you for being here, man. I hope you guys enjoyed the footage of the Morocco trip. It was really a nice trip, I need to say. It's coming already to an end, so I'm going back to Munich tomorrow. I hope you liked the video. I'm trying to post more videos again. Lasst noch ein Like da, auf jeden Fall. Schreibt in die Kommentare, was ihr denkt, was ihr zu Freundschaft denkt im Judo. Und dann freue ich mich, wenn wir uns nächste Woche wiedersehen. Hoffentlich nächste Woche. Also, bis dann. Lasst euch gut gehen.